자, 범인이 흉기를 들고 나를 공격할 때 아직
너무 쉽게 너 입으로 나올 수도 있어.
좀 특별한 일 하고 싶어.
살인할 확률이 가장 높은 시간을 뭐라고 부르는지 아는 사람?
크리티컬 아워입니다.
빙고.
오, 형대로 해봐. 가위바위보.
기다리면 너무 늦을 것 같은데?
못 찾아도 하는 데까지 한번 해보자.
수사의 세 가지 방법. 그거 써볼까? 피해자 중심 수사, 물품 중심 수사, 현장 중심 수사.
몰라, 과학수사와.
사람 목숨보다 절차가 중요해요.
너네 경찰 아니야.
아직 학생이야. 뭐라고?
하기 싫어, 일어나.
얼굴에서 뭐가 흘러.
피.
어쩐지. 아, 뜨거워.
Before we start our presentation, I would like to introduce to you the group members of Accounting United. First, Muhammad Aqil Azib bin Muhammad Zailani, and his metric number is 1210841, and Muhammad Mustaqim bin Rodzi, and his metric number is 1210788, and Muhammad Idham bin Muhammad Shukri, and his metric number is 1210783, and Muhammad Aqil Alleyas, and his metric number is 1210744, and the last one is Muhammad Hadi bin Muhammad Azeman, and his metric number is 1210821. Synopsis of the movie: Park Ki-jun, Park So-jun, and Kang Hee-yeol, Kang Han-yul are new students at the Korean National Police University. They are not the best students, but they are sincere when it matters. They decide to go out one evening. Towards the end of their night, they witness a young woman being kidnapped. Ki-jun and Hee-yeol try to get the police involved, but they meet apathy and bureaucracy. The two police cadets decide to save the young woman's life before it's too late. Concept of the five concepts of organizational behavior is conflict and negotiation. Conflict can refer as a process that begins when one party thinks that another party has affected or is about to negatively affect something the first party cares about. Conflict occurs in the middle activity when interaction or discussion becomes disagreement. There are a few scenes that show about conflict related in the movie Midnight Runner, directed by Jason Kim. The conflict began when after Park Ki-jun and Kang Hee-yeol chased by a group of gangsters in the midnight and saved after they arrived in front of a police station. Ki-jun and his friend wanted to report the situation they faced to the police officer, but the opposite happens to them. The police officer asked them to show their ID first before accept any report because it's part of the procedure that he must follow. Unfortunately, Ki-jun and his friend lost their wallet and phone when they escaped from the group of gangsters. They felt angry and desperate towards the police officer and forced him to solve their case. Because of the bad behavior shown by the two young boys, the police officer had to shoot electric gun to them until faint. Meanwhile, negotiation can be described as a process that occurs when two or more parties decide how to allocate scarce resources. The both parties are each looking to achieve the best possible result in the interaction for themselves. In the end of the story, Midnight Runner, the scene can relate about the negotiation is when a few professors from the police university gathered and discussed about the case involved the student, which were Park Ki-jun and Kang Hee-yeol. They negotiate among themselves whether the student will be expelled from the police university or vice versa. As a result, all professors agreed Park Ki-jun and Kang Hee-yeol will remain in the police university with a few conditions. Park Ki-jun and Kang Hee-yeol should hold back a year and will be given 500 detention hours in college. Next, personality and value. First, responsible. After witnessing the kidnapping of a girl named Yoon Jong, Park Ki-jun and Kang Hee-yeol have a strong sense of responsibility to save her. They both chased the van as hard as they could, however they didn't manage to catch it. After that, they went to a police station to report of what they just saw, but the police officers were too busy with other cases. They decided to investigate the kidnapping by themselves. Next, brave. Park Ki-jun and Kang Hee-yeol bravely fight the criminals who kidnapped the girls even though they are students at the Korean National Police University. They did their best to save the girls even though they know that they will get hurt, but that didn't stop them from fighting the criminals. Next, work hard. Park Ki-jun and Kang Hee-yeol worked hard practicing self-defense for their mission to rescue the kidnapped girls. They trained themselves to fight and study hard to gain knowledge so that they could set a strategy to fight the criminals. They did their best to improve their self-defense skills to fight them. They even deceived a university staff to get some equipment from the university's inventory. And the last one is cruel. Yong-chun and his gang are cruel because they kidnap the girls for the egg breeding syndicate. They have no empathy toward the girls. What they know is the profit that they will gain from the egg breeding syndicate. Their cruelty is unimaginable. They even went as far as trying to kill two young police university students.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum Dr. Next is about the perception and individual decision making. In perception, there are also common shortcuts in judging other, which is selective perception. Selective perception is pupil will only pay attention to information that are appropriate with their attitude and belief, and they would not pay attention to messages that are inappropriate. For example, there is a middle scene in the movie which is Midnight Runner that can explain this selective perception. Pak Kim Jong and Kan Hee-yeol, as well as one of the instructor and Professor Yang, have gone to an abandoned building suspected of being used by the aid broker syndicate. In that scene, Pak Kim Jong and Kan Hee-yeol want to ask Professor Yang's permission and put their trust in him to solve the syndicate case. However, Professor Yang initially refused to grant them permission and refused to assist them in solving the problem on the ground that they were not yet prepared to solve the big case because Pak Kim Jong and Kan Hee-yeol had not yet been appointed as police officer, and they were also too young to get involved in such as a dangerous case. We can clearly see that Professor Yang's decision was heavily influenced by his perception of the shortcut he took toward his two students. Professor Yang accepted only one perception that he judged, despite Pak Kim Jong and Kan Hee-yeol's effort to change the professor's perception to the one that they are both mature enough and capable of taking on the same responsibilities as a police officer. The next section is about individual decision making. Individual decision making is the process through which people make a decision by choosing between two or more options. As we know, making decision is not easy, but every decision needs to be rational and measured. We can better understand the rational decision-making models by appreciating some of the scenes in the film we have studied. Among the scenes that contains this model is when the students have to run up and down the hill for an hour to pass the final stage of intelligence training because they are selected to enter the Korean National Police University. While they were making the run, a student named Kan Hee-yeol suddenly fell because they accidentally bumped into something. Because of that, his leg was injured and he was no longer able to continue his run. He tried to ask for help from other students who approached him, but no one was willing to help him because they were worried about the consequence if they were late in finishing the run. After that, Kan Hee-yeol asked for Pak Kim Jong's help to help him get up and finish the run. After that, Pak Kim Jong's actions were proven true by an officer named Joo Hee, who was on duty as the chief assessor by not punishing the two of them, and even acted by punishing the student who saw Kan Hee-yeol fall while running but did not help him.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zailani bin Azmi. Okay, now I'm going to continue on the next one of our 5 concept of organizational behavior, which is power and politics. Power refers to a capacity that A has to influence the behavior of B, so that B acts in accordance with A, which in this way, power is a capacity or potential that someone may possess but not use. Power's relationship to dependent is likely its most prominent aspect. The more dependent A is on A, the more dependent B is on A, the more powerful A is in the relationship. Dependent is based on B perception of the alternative and the weight B give to the alternatives that A control. Only if someone has control over what you desire can they claim to have influence over you. Meanwhile, political behavior in organization refer to those activities that are not required as part of formal role in organization, but that's influence or attempt to influence the distribution of advantage and disadvantage within the organization. Political behavior is outside the bounds of one's assigned duties, making an effort that is necessary while using power base. It includes action taken to affect the objective, standards or procedure followed in making decision. Okay, for the example in the movie Midnight Runner that we have studied, there are a number of scenes that demonstrate about this power and politics. One of which is when Park Ki-jun and Kang Hyul witnessed a kidnapping of a girl named Yoon-jun on their way back from the club. The local police station missing person department, however, is busy with the kidnapping of the son of business mogul at that time and is unable to investigate the case. Although the two had explained what they were taught at the university about the 7 hours after a girl is abducted is the most critical time, but the police official just saying that the Park Ki-jun and Kang Hyul have been taught well, but because they, which is the missing person unit, have to live on the special order of the chief of police, so the leader's instruction take precedence. So this scene show the example of power, politics, and authority that the superior have to influence others' decision.
Assalamualaikum and hello doctor. My name is Muhammad Aqil bin Alleyas. For now, I will continue about the concept of organizational behavior, which is understanding work teams. As we already acknowledged, every person in their daily life must have ever working in groups or teams, either during school period or during working period. Even among the family members, the term work team still exists and teamwork also applied among them. Generally, a work team can be described as a group of people with complementary skills who work together to achieve specific goals. However, in terms of organizational behavior, a work team is a team that generates positive synergy through coordination. In a work team, the individual efforts result in a level of performance greater than the sum of the individual inputs. For example, let me explain the relation between this concept and the scenes that show in the movie Midnight Runners. For example, in the scene when Park Ki-jun and Kang Hyul decide to investigate a crime where a young lady got kidnapped by a group of egg brokers. Moreover, the incident happened right in front of them. Therefore, they both managed to form a great teamwork with their special skills and abilities that they have in person. Park Ki-jun, he has a strong physical and has a great fighting and combat skills. Meanwhile, for Kang Hyul, he stands out in intelligence and intellectual skills better than Park Ki-jun. So when they wanted to begin the investigation, Kang Hyul was kind of mastermind, and he applied most of the lessons that they learned in the academy. But when it is necessary for them to fight the criminals, which is the egg brokers gang, Park Ki-jun plays an important role to make sure that they win the fight. So I think that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Let's move to our favorite character. Actually, we have 3 favorite character, which is duo main character, Ki-jun and Hyul, and the other one is Professor Yang. The reason we like Ki-jun character because he is the concerned person. For example, when Hyul got injured when training in the jungle, nobody want to help him and continue the training. But after Ki-jun arrived, he helped him, even he asked for compensation. The next reason we like him because he is the full person, because he always act first before thinking. For example, when he and Hyul went to ear cleaning salon, while Hyul was forced to went to basement, he fulfilled himself with ramen and his favorite food for sausage. After police arrived to that basement, he got panic and without thinking, he distracted them in purpose to chase him to save Hyul. And the next character we like, which is Hyul. The reason we like this character because he is a smart person. For example, when he and Ki-jun saw the girl got kidnapped in front of them, he remember every procedure and action to do when someone seen the crimes. The next reason we like this character because he is the funny person. For example, in the nightclub, he dance with stranger girls and enjoy it, but in reality, that girl is already has a partner. But last but not least, our favorite character is Professor Yang. The reason we like this character because he is the loving person. He loves with his students, especially the main character. For example, he advised them to do not involve in the case deeper. And the next reason, and next and last reason, he is the person stand for justice. For example, after the main character want to be expelled by institute, he protect them and give the reason to the higher person that they are doing the right, not doing the wrong. So that is the all reason we choose the three character for our favorite character. So that's all for me. Let's move to other person.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mustaqim. In my part, I will explain about 3 lessons that we get from this movie, which is Minat Rana. So the first point is help and save the others. Giving help and assistance to people that we recognize or doesn't know who is the most noble practice in community life. It's not only that we get help the people, but we can be respected to and lovely by the others. So from this movie, we can refer to the scene when Park Ki-jun and Kah-hyul trying to help a girl that is known as Lee Yeon-jun, kidnapped by kidnappers who trying carry out illegal activities. So they trying to finding their track and finding a way to solve a problem or the case, even though they doesn't know who it is, that girl. So the second point is be responsible. Responsibility is often associated with integrity in a performing task. Integrity is the capability to do a task, responsibility or pledge. So from this movie, we can refer to the scene when Park Ki-jun and Kah-hyul prefer to continue, even though to help Lee Yeon-jun, who was kidnapped, even though they do know the consequence of their action and they have a potential to be expelled from the university. But because they know feel that they are doing the right thing and they continue to solve the dangerous case. So the last lesson that we get from this movie is think clearly before act, because every single decision that we make, whether it is small or large, will affect ourselves and others people around us. Because every choice count. It's crucial to pause and consider how your decision may affect both you and other people. From this movie, when Park Ki-jun and Kah-hyul witnessed a girl got kidnapped, the first thing they do was thinking how to solve this case and make the right decision. So in this movie also show that the consequence if we act before thinking first. So for example, when Park Ki-jun and Kah-hyul rush to help the girl without thinking, so the consequence from this act, they were arrested and locked up in a room. Therefore, it's important for us to think before acting, make more appropriate decision even in a stressful moment.
Now we move to the conclusion part. I will try my best to conclude this whole movie. So in conclusion, the movie Minat Rana is a movie about 2 young men who are students of the police university and try to attempt to solve a case after witnessing a woman or a lady being kidnapped and driven away in a van. From the movie, we also learn that these 2 young men have certain qualities that most people are lacking. They are very kind and brave. Even though they know the risk, they didn't think twice when they saw the girl being kidnapped, and they try their best to save the girl. Then they fight the criminals with their spirit, and in the end, they manage to save the girls. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, so in this slide, I will explain 3 recommendations based on this movie. So based on this movie, there are several recommendations to be considered. Firstly, as employee, they need to make the right decision making before making each decision, so that the result can be a benefit in any workplace. Second is understanding and knowing each other in a team is very important to make a great team in every job. So the last but not least, learn how to negotiate with every employee at work so as to be able to hear different opinions in every aspect. The best viewpoint will be picked at the conclusion of the discussion.